All right, ready to dive deep. Today, we're tackling the shadow self.
Ooh, sounds intense.
It is kind of. We've got these 50 journal prompts from a blog post by Clara Penrose on LeStallion.
Okay, journal prompts. I like it.
Yeah. And these aren't like, what's your favorite color or whatever.
Right, right.
They're designed to help you uncover hidden parts of yourself. The ones you might not even want to admit are there.
Like a deep dive into those hidden corners of your mind.
Exactly.
I love that. And tell me about these prompts. How do they start?
Well, I mean, the prompts are designed to, like, guide you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But first, we should probably talk about, like, what the shadow self actually is.
Yes, good point. It's not like some evil twin, right?
No. Nothing like that.
Okay, good.
More like those aspects of ourselves we tend to repress or deny, the stuff we try to hide, even from ourselves.
Right, like all those little things, those little pieces of ourselves that we've kind of shoved down and tried to forget about.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, like, what's the benefit of, like, digging all that up? Doesn't sound super fun.
Well, think of it like this. Imagine you keep tripping over something in your house. You can just keep ignoring it. But wouldn't it be better to, figure out what it is and move it?
Yeah, that's a good analogy. I like that. Makes sense.
So that's kind of what exploring your shadow self is like. It's about understanding the root of your patterns, your reactions, all that stuff.
That makes a lot of sense. And so, these 50 prompts from Penrose, do they give us, like, a structure for that?
They totally do. She's grouped them into themes. Self-awareness, releasing shame, understanding fear, embracing authenticity, and self-compassion. It's like a roadmap.
Oh, I like that. A roadmap for
Yeah.
our deep dive into the shadow self.
Exactly.
That's great. And so each of those themes, like, do they build on each other? Are they connected in any way?
Yeah, definitely. It's like you start with self-awareness, which is the foundation, right?
The foundation.
Then you can start peeling back the layers.
Mm-hmm.
The shame, the fear, all of it.
That makes sense.
And from there, you can move towards, like, embracing your authentic self and finding self-compassion.
I like that. So, like, if we were to start with self-awareness, what are some of the prompts in there that, like, really stood out to you?
Let me think. Oh, there's one that's like, what qualities do I find most challenging in others, and how might those traits reflect parts of myself that I'm avoiding?
Ooh, interesting. That's deep.
Right? It's all about recognizing projection.
Projection. Remind me what that is again.
It's like when we unconsciously attribute our own, unacceptable qualities onto other people.
Ah, yes, yes.
So, for example, if you find yourself constantly annoyed by someone who's, always late, maybe it's because you struggle with time management.
But you haven't fully acknowledged it.
Exactly.
Wow, that's a powerful insight.
It really is. Like those traits that bug us the most in others,
Yeah,
they're often a reflection of something we haven't dealt with in ourselves.
that is so true. It's like those things that really get under your skin, it's often because there's something there for you to look at. Interesting.
Right. So, like, with that prompt, you can kind of shine a light on your blind spots.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So, are there any other prompts in this self-awareness section?
Oh, yeah, there are a bunch. There's another one that I really like. It's, what's one negative belief about myself that I've carried for years? What are its origins, and is it really true?
Ooh, that's a good one. I like that.
Right. We all have those limiting beliefs, I'm not good enough, I'm not lovable, things like that.
Yes, we all have them.
But this prompt makes you really examine those beliefs. Like, where do they come from? Are they even true anymore?
Right, because a lot of times those beliefs, they're rooted in, like, childhood experiences, things people said to us, messages we absorbed from society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But as adults, we can choose whether to keep carrying those beliefs or not.
Such a good point.
And just questioning them, like really questioning them, that can be the first step to letting them go.
It's like, you shine a light on a cobweb and suddenly it doesn't seem so strong anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, this is really interesting stuff. I'm already feeling like I'm learning a lot.
Me too.
It's
And we're just getting started.
like, whoa, these prompts can really shift your perspective.
I know, right? And we've only just started with self-awareness. There's like so much more to explore.
So true. So, where do we go next on this roadmap?
Well, Penrose's next theme is releasing shame.
Okay, shame. That's a tough one.
It is. I think we all carry some, stuff we regret, mistakes we've made.
Yeah, definitely. Shame. It's universal, Everyone experiences it. And it's Powerful, really powerful, can keep you stuck.
Stuck in the past.
Totally keeps you from taking risks, can even mess up your relationships.
So how do these prompts help with that? With the shame?
Well, they kind of guide you towards self-forgiveness, accepting those past mistakes and dealing with that feeling of not enoughness. A lot of people struggle with that, like feeling like they're not enough.
Yeah, that's a big one.
It is. And one prompt that I think is really helpful is, what's one mistake from my past that I still hold against myself? What would it take for me to forgive myself?
Oof, that's heavy.
It is.
Yeah.
But it's important, right? You
Mhm.
can't move forward if you're always beating yourself up over past stuff.
Totally. But forgiving yourself, that's not like
Yeah.
saying what you did was okay.
No, no. It's about acknowledging you made a mistake, learning from it, and letting it go. Recognizing you're human. We all mess up sometimes.
It's like giving yourself the same grace you would give a friend.
Exactly.
I like that.
And there's another prompt kind of related to this.
Right.
What is one thing about myself that I wish no one else would ever find out? How has keeping this secret affected me? It's about, like, the weight of secrets.
Secrets are tough. It's like they create a wall between you and other people.
They do. A lot of secrets come from shame,
Yeah.
fear of judgment. But this prompt, it makes you think about how keeping the secret might actually be hurting you.
Right. Like, is it affecting your relationships, your
Yeah.
self-esteem?
Yeah, exactly. Like, is holding on to that secret worth it? Or could you actually be more free if you let it go?
It's like a cost-benefit analysis for your secrets.
Kind of. And sometimes just acknowledging those secrets, sharing them with someone you trust, a friend or therapist, it can be really, really liberating.
Okay, so we've done self-awareness, releasing shame. What's next?
Well, once you've kind of unpacked some of those heavier things, you can start to deal with your fears.
Fear. My favorite.
Right. Everyone loves fear. But seriously, the next set of prompts is all about understanding fear.
Which, I mean, fear is a powerful thing. It can really hold you back.
It totally can. But these prompts help you see what's underneath those fears. Like, what are you truly afraid of? And how is fear keeping you from living a better life?
Oh, there's one prompt that's like, if fear wasn't a factor, what's the first thing I would change in my life? What does this reveal about my priorities?
That's a good one. It cuts through all the noise and helps you figure out what really matters. Because fear can disguise itself as being practical, or even laziness.
Well, yeah, that's true.
But when you get rid of those excuses, what's left? What do you really want?
It's about getting clear on your dreams, even if they're scary.
Exactly. And there's another prompt. How do I act differently when I'm afraid compared to when I feel secure? What can this reveal about how fear shapes my behavior?
That's interesting. It's like we might not even realize how much fear is controlling us until we pay attention.
Right. We might become more people-pleasing when we're insecure,
Hmm.
or maybe more aggressive or controlling.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's about becoming aware of those patterns so you can make better choices instead of letting fear run the show.
Like taking back control.
Exactly.
Okay, so we faced our fears. What's the next step on this shadow work journey?
Well, once you understand those hidden parts, the shame, fears, beliefs, you can start to embrace your authentic self. That's what these next prompts are about, embracing authenticity.
Authenticity. That sounds kind of intimidating. What if my authentic self is, like, weird?
But that's the great part. Your authentic self is what makes you you. It's about embracing all of it, the good, the bad, the quirky, and letting go of trying to fit in or please everyone else.
One prompt that really spoke to me here is, what's a part of me I feel I need to hide from others, and why do I feel that way?
Yeah, it's about those parts of ourselves we keep hidden, even from people we love.
And it asks you to think about why. Why do you feel like you need to hide those parts?
Exactly. Is it fear of judgment, rejection? What are the underlying beliefs driving that secrecy?
It's like those parts of ourselves we've decided are unacceptable or unlovable.
Right. But this prompt asks you to think, are those beliefs actually true? Or have you just been taught to believe that?
It's about challenging those old beliefs and
Yep.
seeing those hidden parts differently.
Yes. And then there's this one. What is one small way I can begin showing up as my truest self today, even if it's uncomfortable?
It's about taking small steps toward authenticity, even if it feels a little scary.
Exactly. Maybe it's wearing that outfit you love but are too afraid to wear out, or speaking up in a meeting even though you're nervous. Little acts of courage, They help you step into your power.
I like that. So as we're embracing authenticity, we also need self-compassion, right? That's the last set of prompts.
Right. Self-compassion is so important, especially when you're doing this kind of inner work. It's about treating yourself with kindness and understanding, like you would a friend.
Totally. There's a prompt that says, what are my strengths? And how often do I acknowledge them versus focusing on my flaws?
That's a good one. We're so hard on ourselves, always focusing on what we need to improve. But this reminds you to celebrate your accomplishments.
Appreciate your talents.
Exactly. It's about shifting from self-criticism to self-appreciation. What are you good at? What are you proud
What
of?
makes you happy?
Yeah, those are the things to celebrate.
And then there's this one. If I could send a message to my past self, what words of compassion and encouragement would I share?
That one gets me every time. It's about offering yourself the same kindness you'd offer your younger self, with everything you know now. What would you say to reassure them, comfort them?
Encourage them.
Yes. It's about realizing we've all been through tough stuff, we've all messed up, but we're all worthy of love and acceptance, even when we fall short.
I like that a lot.
And it leads us to this. What would my life look like if I treated myself with the same kindness and understanding that I offer to others?
Wow, that's a big one.
It is. But imagine if we were all as kind to ourselves as we are to the people we love.
It would be a different world.
It would be. A world with more compassion, more forgiveness, more joy.
And that sounds like a world worth striving for. Wow, we've covered a lot, haven't we? And it's heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But it feels like we've just scratched the surface.
Yeah, it's true. There's always more to learn about the shadow self. But there's one thing that keeps coming up for me.
What's that?
Self-acceptance. It seems like that's at the core of all this shadow work.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. Like, whether you're facing shame or fear or trying to be more authentic, it all comes back to accepting yourself.
Makes sense. Like accepting those parts of yourself that you've maybe rejected before and seeing them as part of who you are, not just flaws.
Exactly. Like, there's a prompt in the self-compassion section that says, what would it mean to let go of shame and accept my flaws as part of my unique self?
Yeah.
It makes you rethink what a flaw even is.
Right. Like maybe those flaws are just what make you, what makes you different.
Exactly. And when you can embrace those parts of yourself, you can be more authentic, more confident.
Because you're not hiding anymore.
Right. And that can lead to better relationships too, right? When you can let people see the real you.
That makes sense. It's like you're not afraid to be vulnerable anymore.
There's a prompt about that too. What's one thing I would say to a friend who feels shame about something similar to my own experience? How can I extend that kindness to myself?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It reminds you that everyone struggles. We all need compassion.
Yeah, it's like building a more supportive world for yourself and for others.
Exactly. And that's what I love about shadow work. It's personal growth, but it's also about spreading compassion and acceptance.
Okay, so before we wrap up, were there any other prompts that really stood out to you?
Oh, yeah, there was one. In what ways can I create more space for self-compassion in my daily life?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because it's easy to forget about self-care when life gets busy.
Yeah, totally.
But self-compassion isn't a luxury, it's essential. It's those little things you do every day to take care of yourself.
Like taking time to meditate or journaling.
Yeah, or setting boundaries with people who drain your energy. It's about making yourself a priority.
So true. It's like giving yourself permission to rest,
Yeah.
to recharge.
Exactly. And remember, self-compassion is a practice. It's something you work on over time.
All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the shadow self, what's one thing you hope listeners take away?
I hope they remember that exploring the shadow self isn't about negativity. It's about understanding yourself better so you can be more whole, more authentic. And that journey, yeah, it can be tough, but it's so worth it.
Well said. And for anyone listening who wants to dive deeper, check out Clara Penrose's full list of 50 prompts on the LeStallion website. You might be surprised by what you discover. And remember, be kind to yourself. This is a journey. And with that, happy exploring.